Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone, to Align with Your Dharma. And today I am so excited to talk to the certified nutritionist and a wellness strategist who is going to enlighten us with all this wonderful information. I have all these, questions that I have collected from people who have asking me, and I have my own questions that I want to ask. Um, so I want to welcome Danielle. Welcome, Danielle. How are you?
Hello, I am doing well. I am excited to be here and excited to be talking with you. I always enjoy our conversations. So I am super excited to be here, answer any questions, and just be another resource, another enlightened opinion of someone else, and hopefully we can all learn something today.
Yay! I'm excited too. And thanks for taking your time on this, weekend day and spending time with my listeners. So let's start with how did you get started, and what drew you to start this business on nutrition?
What got me started was I actually wanted to get healthy myself. And whenever you're starting like on a health journey, you just go by like what you see, what people have told you that you need to do. And so I was just like, oh, okay, well, you need to eat this, you need to eat that, but why? Like, what's the why behind it? So I actually went to get my certification because I wanted to know the why behind eating healthy. Why do I need, let's say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but why? Like, why does it do that? And so I wanted to know the why behind it. That's how I got started on my certification. And then once I learned, I was like, this is kind of something that we are not really knowing. We don't normally know the why. And this was back in 2016. Now I feel like a lot more people are getting into it and just really trying to learn, their lifestyle. But then, we weren't digging deep into it like that. So for me, it was very, very important to know the why. And then I was like, you know what? I want to share this with other people. And so that's how I got started. And then I niched down to women because I feel like I can relate to women more.
Mm,
We have the same, struggles. We have the same insecurities and mindset sometimes. And I also feel like if I help a woman, I help the entire family, not just her. Because as women, we take care of the entire family. So if we're on a journey, even if they don't, they're like, oh, we're not on your journey. But wait a minute, what are you eating? Because that looks good. That's why I decided to help women.
beautiful, beautiful. That is so true, though. When you educate a woman, you're educating the entire community. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
So, how, in your opinion, would you define success? And
Success.
yeah, how does that changed the definition that you gave? How that has changed since your journey has begun?
Mm, that's really big. I think success started for me as like, oh, I'll be successful when I make this amount of money, like when I
Mm,
that was, success. And then once you make that amount of money, and then it's like you just make that amount of money. Like
mm,
that's it. So success to me is just really being overall having a wellness overall. Just
mm,
okay, yes, you have your financial stability and security, but
mm,
also I'm happy from the inside out, not just what people see on social media, not just what is out there. Being happy and actually having joy is
mm,
is successful to me. Having great friendships and relationships with people,
mm,
that's very successful to me. And coming in contact with someone new
mhm.
and just learning from them is just that's success. So just having an overall well-rounded life of wellness has become successful to me.
So your definition of wellness that is equal to success is, having surrounding yourself with good individuals who support you and feeling happy inside. Yes, finance is a little part of it,
Mhm.
but taking care of yourself and self care and all of that combined wellness, which is equal to success. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I that is very much it. It's without all of it, you feel empty. You feel like you're still missing something. And that's why I think sometimes when people have a lot of money, they're still unhappy. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of suicide rate with people who,
Mm.
have a lot of money, different things, because it's an overall feeling of success when your overall life is happy and well. That's success.
Um, does a spiritual play a role in that wellness?
Absolutely. I believe like you have to have your meditation, you have to have your prayer.
Mm.
Um, you have to believe in something bigger than you. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
has whatever it is that they believe in, but
Mm.
there has to be something bigger than you, because otherwise you're just living. And then what do you feel? What is out there for you? And I've never had a feeling of not knowing that there was something bigger than me that's playing a role in my life, because it's always worked out at times where I'm like, I have no idea how that happened.
Mm.
But it happened because that bigger person, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, but it's definitely something that's helped guiding me through this life.
To keep you grounded at the same
Yeah.
time, guiding you in your path.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Um, what is one thing that you have achieved that you're very proud of, would you say?
This is a hard question, because it's like, what is it that have
You have to
achieved?
just pick one. You have to just
Yes,
pick one.
I know. It's just like, oh my gosh, I've achieved this, and I was very proud of myself for this or that. I think achievement of living my life like unapologetically, because so many times, when we're younger, we're going through all these insecurities, and you're like, I can't do this, or you're a people pleaser, or you're trying to do what else somebody else has told you. A big success of mine is living and doing things
Mm,
how I want to do them, and being okay with whatever anybody else thinks about it, whether they like it or they don't like it, it doesn't matter. So I think
mm,
that's been a big achievement of mine, because for a long time, I'm a Southern girl. And
mm,
so there's in the South, there's different ways you're supposed to live. You're supposed to go up, you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have kids and do all these things. And when you don't
mm,
do those things, you
mm,
don't feel like you've achieved anything. You don't feel,
mm.
but now I don't need all those outer extremities to feel like I'm successful, or any of those things. So I feel like that's a big achievement, because sometimes people go a whole lifetime trying to
Mhm.
feel good, or not worry about what someone else thinks. So to me, that's a big achievement for myself.
That's well said, because that is true though. We look at um, based on how our parents have raised us, and based on what the society thinks
Yeah.
we should be. And like, okay, you get a degree, you have to do this. Like you said, wherever you grow up, the environment you're in. And
Yeah.
if you're in the south or east or west or wherever
Mhm.
you grow up, it's like, okay, society has these standards, and
Yes.
oh, I didn't fill up that standard, so
Yeah.
does that mean I have not achieved? Yeah,
Right.
it's easy to get stuck into that.
Hmm.
um but I am, you're like an old soul giving all this information. That is true though. It's like being content and comfortable in your own skin with your
Hmm.
own actions, because in your heart, deepest of the heart, that you are doing what is right and what is meant for you. As long as you're not hurting anyone's feelings, or
Right.
physically harming anyone, and
Absolutely.
you are in your own path, which
Hmm.
is destined for you, uh, and you are fulfilling that is meant for you, and you're content with that, then you
Yes.
don't have to worry about what the society thinks. Or sometimes parents have certain
Yeah.
expectations. Oh yeah, my child should do A, B, C, and D. And if the C is not there, if the B is not there, it's like, okay, does that mean I have not been a good daughter, I've not been a good
Right.
son?
Yes.
That is well said. Thank you so much for shedding light on that, because yes, you're right. People are like, okay, well, I didn't fill up that part where my parents were expecting, or my sibling did this and I didn't do that, and am I
Hmm.
being a good brother, good sister? And that affects their mental health.
It does.
And with the suicide rates going up and all that, it is important to be content with what you are doing, as long as it's right and it's not
Yes.
harming anyone.
Yes.
And you should consider that as an achievement.
Yeah.
And people should pat themselves on their back for, being content, like, okay, I did my part and I'm happy with it,
Yes.
rather than asking for validation, like, okay, if I do this, I'm like, okay, will Daniel be okay with it, or will
Yes.
my parent, or my society, asking for validation and acknowledgement. Instead of that, it's like, I've done my part, I'm happy with it, I'm going to go forward.
It's
That
the
is so
truth. It's true.
that
And
is
it's
so
hard to get to that point, like you said, based on how your family is, how strict maybe the family is. It's hard to get to that point to where you finally just have to tell them, like, your family's going to love you regardless.
mm,
And that's where I got to. I'm like, no matter what I do, y'all are going to love me because we're family. So you might not like the things that I'm doing, but you're going to love me regardless. So I'm
yeah.
not going to really worry about what y'all have to say.
That is true. That is true. And you are like a person who wears multiple hats. You have background in business, sales, management. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, I am. Because yes, I'm a certified nutritionist and wellness strategist, but full time. Right now, I work for an IT company basically. And
Mm,
so I work with CIOs of companies and their direct reports. I've worked in retail before. I have helped um, people start their franchises of what a
mm,
company that I've worked with starting franchises. I've been in operations where I've traveled around. And so it has given me um, just a different mindset and just a different way of like knowing how people function in this society because it's like I've done those roles. It's like I've been there, so I can relate, and it's like I'm not dismissing any of those things that play a part in our day-to-day activities that could actually wear us down, at time and lead to burnout. So I'm very familiar with all of those things, and I think again it goes around to being well-rounded and
hmm
you need those different things in life. You need those different experiences in life.
Yeah, and you traveling and working in a different environment with different sets of people with different mindsets. It makes you a well-rounded person.
Yes, and being able to
Definitely.
work with different personalities because you just never
Hmm.
know when you're traveling and you're showing up in an office, you have no idea those personalities that you're walking into, and just being
Mm,
able to, chameleon and work from them. Like, hey, let me meet you where you're at,
mm,
and then really coach them to be, where they
mm,
are. And you'd be very surprised at the things that the influence that you have. Like, we was a
mm,
very casual company one time, and I always came in dressed up.
mm.
And when you come in and you feel, you're dressed up, you look, have this look of authority. When we had customers come in the store, they're like, oh, I know she's the manager. And so by the end of the week, those employees at that store that's normally a little bit business casual, they're dressed up too, because they saw how people treated you from just what you wore
Yep.
and how people look at you. And then when you're dressed up and they look good, I'm like, oh my gosh, you look so good today. Then they feel good and they're doing better at their job and they feel better about themselves. So you just never know how you can impact people just by showing up as who you are.
Yeah, I like that. I was going to say just being yourself, and
Mhm.
rather than being like, okay, should I dress up or not? Instead of
Right.
second guessing, you just be you are. And that vibe will
Yes.
impact everybody around you in a positive manner.
Yes.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes.
Um, so, what is, since you said you worked with different personalities,
Mhm.
what is one of the greatest challenge that you have overcome, and what did you gain overcoming that challenge?
I think back in my 20s, like when I was much younger, I having those being in those work environments and working in those companies that, sometimes just aren't a healthy work environment.
Mm,
And they're not as great. But when you're younger, you're just trying to get the experience. You're just trying to do the work. And one of the last jobs that I had in corporate America prior to getting to this one was I'm not going to work somewhere or do something that I'm not happy doing every day when I wake up. If I wake up and feel miserable, it's time to make a change. And I don't have to have any, loyalty to this because it's not feeding me and I'm being depleted. So if it's depleting me, then I don't want to do it. So that was a big challenge for me because again, you're taught, you go, to college, you get your degree, you stay at your job and you make good money and then you retire. And so moving around just wasn't the thing back then. It was not like, no, it's like, no, you stay with your job and you get through, whatever the hard times are. And for me, I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, this isn't fun. I don't want to wake up like this every day. I'm changing the trajectory. Like, if I don't like it, I'm not staying.
Mm,
And have a plan, of course. You don't want to just quit and then you're like, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. Not that, of course.
mhm.
But create a plan for yourself and stick to it. Have a commitment to yourself, the same commitments that you have for your friends and family, showing up for them. Have that same commitment and attitude for yourself and show up for yourself.
Mm. Um, so how do you unwind? I'm sure
Hmm.
meeting different personalities and even the food we consume sometimes can maybe you go to the grocery store and you have this plan, like I'm going to get, this fruit, this vegetable, and this protein and whatnot. And sometimes when you go there, well, it's out of stock, it throws you off balance. But and that affects you as well. It's like, okay, I made these plans, like, based off of these vegetables and these things that I'm going to get from the grocery store. I'm going to make a dish. And now, if I don't get that vegetable or whatnot, then it throws your, plan off, right?
Yes.
So when things happen like that, how do you unwind, and what do you do to recharge? And okay, yes, change of plans. Okay, now that these are not available because we're talking to a nutritionist, so I need to ask, so if it is change of plans, then how do you reset and reprogram your mind and recharge yourself?
Ooh, so reset, reprogram, different things. So of course I've gotten thrown off today just in the grocery store and I'm like, they don't have it. So it's
Mm,
like I need it for certain things. So I will go back to the store and get it another day this week and
okay.
just kind of one of those things. Like, you know what? I will eat those dishes later in the week when I feel like going back to the store. So
Mm,
that's one of the things. It's such like, we have to be able to shift and flow and flex with life because you just never know what can happen. So you got to be ready for that shift. It's like, you know what? I'm frustrated about it, but I'm going to get over it. Like, I'll just go later this week and get it. Some things I do to unwind, like when I get off of work, I like it to be just quiet and I like
okay.
to lay on my couch in silence, whether it's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in just silence and just breathing and just allowing my mind to calm down. Because, when you're at work, you're going, you're thinking about all these things.
Yeah.
And in order for me to switch from that work mode to just home, I just need a moment to just like, woosah, and just like
Do
let those thoughts come.
do you go over the emotions that come? Because like you said, you went to the store, you didn't get certain vegetables,
Mhm.
but you're like, you know what? Yes, I'm frustrated. I'm glad
Yes.
you mentioned that, because
Yeah.
we all go through that, right? We
Right.
are not like, we are humans. So
Right.
yes, we will go through, stuff like, oh my goodness, this didn't go the way I planned. But like you said, just acknowledging those emotions, and yes, I'm frustrated, that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But do I want to carry that frustration throughout the week because I didn't get those things that I wanted from the store? So I'm glad you said. So when my question is, do you acknowledge whatever, after a long day or whatnot, before you even take a breather and just
Mhm.
in tune with yourself? While you're in tuning, do you acknowledge the emotions that come up?
Oh, for sure. Because, even when just before you even walk away and you're like, okay, this is going to be my last task. And
Mm,
then you sit there and you're like, oh, today was a long day. Like, today was a busy day.
mhm,
Like, today my brain is fried. Like,
mhm.
just going through that. And then as you're winding down and whatever it is, like, 'cause sometimes I will lay down. Sometimes I'll go outside because I just need the nature. I need to hear the birds. I need to feel the breeze. I need the sun hit me. I need all the things on those days.
Lucky you are in Tampa.
Yes.
So we can just imagine, for people who are not in Tampa, we can just imagine that we have the sunshine and walking along the beach, and yeah.
Yes, yes. And so you go through, and that's what those minutes are for all those emotions to come through. And then just let them just flow however they're going to flow. So then I can now go in my evening and I don't want to be worried about work in my evening. Because when I'm at work, I don't have time to think about all these other things. Like they want me focused on work and that's what I'm doing in front of this client. So
Mm.
I want to be fair to myself outside of that. And okay, now what am I going to have for dinner? I want to have like a good dinner. I want to dance around, have a good meal, and I don't want to be frustrated from work or from something that didn't happen. And so I want to have good energy going into whatever the next thing it is I'm doing.
I'm glad you mentioned that because when you're cooking, and I'm glad you mentioned the word
Mhm.
energy, and because when you're frustrated, then that energy goes into the food you're making.
Mhm.
Oh, I love it. Continue, please. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad she mentioned it. It's important.
Yes, and it's true. It's very true. And so that's why whenever I cook, I want to have a good attitude, a good energy. I normally put on like upbeat music or very chill music, whatever it is that's going to make me feel good. I want
Mm,
that entire feeling while I'm cooking.
mm,
And so I definitely do that. Like I said, getting outside just gives you another energy. Getting that vitamin D from the sun is just a different energy. Hearing the birds chirp. I was on a bike ride the other day and I heard these birds chirping. And when I came up, y'all, it was like a big thing of like lime green birds. And it was in a
mm.
neighborhood. I was like, well, where do you see this? Like nowhere else can you go and see beautiful green birds just flying around. So yes,
Beautiful.
whatever it is to wind it, I think find your thing. And it
Mm,
doesn't have to be one thing because we
mm,
never know how we're going to feel. Like some days, if it's too overwhelming, I do need to lay down. But some
mm,
days I've been sitting so much, I do need to take that walk and move and unwind during the walk and let my actions let it flow out of my body. And
mm,
so just be open to going with where your body needs you to go and don't be so restricted
mhm.
to like, oh, this is my unwind thing. Oh, this is how I have to unwind. Have 3 to 5 things that you choose from and go do them, whichever one you
That's
feel.
that is a good point. So what you're saying is, after a long day, or if things don't go the way you want,
Mhm.
um, tap into those emotions that come up,
Mhm.
and then have a couple of techniques, like 3 or 4 techniques that you can use to unwind. Whether you had a long day, you want to just chill,
Mhm.
or you've been sitting a lot of time, and then you want to move around, whatever that is, for you to unwind. And then and when you're ready to cook or ready to make the meal, then have either energizing music or whatever your thing is.
Yeah.
Get tuned to your inner self is what I'm hearing.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's absolutely correct. Yes.
So the energy can flow into the food we are making because we are consuming those food, and that food has to benefit us.
Yes.
Beautiful. Oh my God, I love
It's
it. I'm
fueling us.
glad.
The food is fueling us. So let it fuel you with good energy.
Okay. Um, so how do you stay motivated? So because you said, that this is how I reset, this is how you re-energize yourself, this is how you unwind. So how do you stay motivated? I mean, we are all humans again, right?
Mhm.
So there are times where we are like, I am in this, slump mode, or in the middle of the day, it's like your mood is a little not upbeat.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
how do you stay motivated?
It really just depends on the next action, right? Like sometimes I do not want to work out. Like that is just not the thing that I want to do today. But little things that I do is I'll put my tennis shoes in front of my front door. So
Mm,
anytime I walk by and I see the tennis shoes, I'm like, you need to go do that. I listen to in the mornings, I listen to motivational like things on YouTube
mm,
or a book, an audible book. I listen to those in the morning to get me started. And sometimes in the middle of the day, if you need that, either that or some upbeat music
mm-hmm,
that you need for that like in afternoon boost.
mm-hmm,
Get you a good healthy snack like some nuts to crunch on to like get
mm,
your senses going.
mm,
And yeah, so doing just different things like that, I think keep me motivated, like the small little motivations throughout the day, but also just having things written down. Like I
mm,
know this is my goal. Like at the end of this month, I want to have these things done.
mm.
What are you doing each day to get to that thing at the end of the month? And have it for like the week too. Okay, so this week I need to do this because when this is done by the end of the month, I'm going to reach this goal. So
Okay.
write things down. I think that's very important to just, if you have a specific goal that you want to reach by a certain time, write it down, break it down to each week. How am I going to get there? That way it doesn't seem so big,
Okay.
and stay motivated that way. It's like when you have it written down and then you see your progress, you want to keep going. You're like, oh, look at me. I did that. I forgot that I even did that.
Beautiful. Yeah, journaling is an important, right? Instead of just keeping it all in the head, like, okay,
Right.
I'm going to, this is my goal, I want to eat healthy. And before you know, if it is all in here,
Yes.
tomorrow, when you come across a stressful situation, it's like, you know what, I'm going to grab that ice cream. I mean, there is nothing wrong in having an ice cream.
Right.
Yes, but it's like, if it is all in here and not written down, it's easily forgotten. But when we have that goals, do you suggest having it in different places, like if you're when you're at work, right?
Mhm.
And you have this, you're dealing with a difficult client or challenging project you're working on,
Mhm.
and you feel stressed, and acknowledging, yes, okay, the stress is coming on.
Yeah.
Okay, then looking at do you suggest having it there? Okay, your goals.
Yes. Yes. I have a calendar like for next to me at work. So I have a calendar on my desk. So I have that there and have different things on there, different events I keep on there. And then I have a whiteboard calendar in my closet, because I walk in my closet a lot. And
Okay.
so that, as soon as and then when I walk by my closet, I can still see that whiteboard calendar. So I have different things on there. And then I have another small calendar that I keep for just like my workouts. And
Mm,
so on that small calendar, I get to see, like, today I rode my bike 7 miles, or tomorrow, like the day before that, I rode my bike 12 miles and I did the trampoline, or, and then I get to see, like, okay, this week I worked out 4 days. This last week, I think, so far it's Wednesday and I've only worked out once. So I either need to work out today or I plan to work out a lot this weekend. So you kind of just get to gauge where you are when the things are written down to see. And it's like, you know what? I do want that ice cream. I have that ice cream today.
mm,
Probably not going to do that tomorrow.
mm.
Probably need to find something else to do for my stress if I get stressed out tomorrow. Maybe I need to just walk away from the desk and take a deep breath and then come back to it.
That is good though, because it's easy to like grab that wine. Oh, I had a long stressful day, I'm going to grab that wine,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yes.
But it's finding that balance. Okay, yes, I had ice cream yesterday, or yes, I went for the wine
Mhm.
yesterday, but not beating yourself like, oh
Right.
my goodness, I was going to stick to this routine, that I'm going to eat all healthy, and now that I chose ice cream, screw the rest of the week, I'm going to do whatever I want. Instead of that, going back. So having that written down, it helps us keep us on track, accountable
Yes.
for our own goals, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So, and are you saying that, sometimes it's okay, like if we fall off the bandwagon,
Yes.
okay, to give yourself permission? Is it what I'm hearing?
Yes, it's so important to give ourselves permission, because, like you said, otherwise we get down that rabbit hole of like, oh, then I'm not going to do it for the rest of the week. I'm going to start over on Monday. Why are you starting over on Monday and today is just Wednesday?
Mm,
Tomorrow can be Monday. Thursday can
mm,
be Monday, because we have to remember we're adults. We're not kids. We don't have to go by anybody else's thing but our own. We get to make
thank
our
you.
own choices. So my choice is not to wait until Monday because it's now Wednesday. I can wait till
Mhm,
Thursday and I'm going to make better decisions Thursday. Thursday is going to be my Monday, or Friday
mhm.
is going to be my Monday, or Saturday. It doesn't have to be Monday.
Got it. Those are valuable points, and I'm glad you're shedding light on those. Those are simple
Mhm.
tools, but it's very valuable, giving us permission. And even you mentioned, like, yeah, we are not kids, we are adults, we can make
Yeah.
wise choices. And we are doing that for our own wellness and our own health,
Mhm.
our own goals, and for individuals who have kids, because the kids are seeing, the
Yeah.
parents making these choices, and they learn more not by the parents telling them like, okay, do A, B, and C, but then us parents, if we are not doing that ourselves, and we are beating ourselves like, oh my God, okay, I had ice cream yesterday. So yes, mom or dad, had ice cream yesterday and they felt bad about themselves. So that's the role model we are setting up, and the kids are watching, and that is
Yes.
true though. So it's important to give us permission. It's okay. And if we made a different choice, to eat something different today, tomorrow can be the Monday or
Yes,
Sunday, or whatever it
exactly.
is.
Exactly.
Wherever your week starts. And because I know some people who are in the healthcare field, they work these odd hours,
Mhm.
and they start their week on a Tuesday, so that can be their Tuesday. Next
Yes,
day can be their Tuesday.
exactly.
Thank you. Okay. So I do want to ask you this question people kept asking. um, so for me,
Okay.
as an Asian, rice is a basic staple.
Mhm.
So, and I have people ask me like, including the rice in my diet plan, is it a good choice to do that? And if it is, should we do white or brown rice? And why? I know there is three part to this question. So the
Yes.
first question is, can rice be included in the diet plan? Is it good? And if yes, white or brown rice, and why?
I think yes. The first question is yes. I am a rice person, so you won't ever see a diet that I have that doesn't include it in some way, shape, form, or fashion, because I'm very much a rice person. And then we also have to be, cognizant of, we are all built different. Like our bodies are all built different, right?
Mm,
And if you are going to an Asian country, they're going to generally have the white rice.
mm,
And if you look at their body makeup, they're not imploding, like their waistline isn't any bigger. It's because of their body makeup. And then that's what they're used to. That is what is grown in their native land, right? So when
mm,
they eat that, it works well for their body.
mm,
And so you have to be mindful of that. You have to be mindful of where you live and when you get rice. How do you get rice? How processed is it, your rice
mm,
compared to the rice that they're getting, right?
mm,
And then what is actually going to work for your specific body type. So for me, I like wild rice or brown rice, wild rice, brown rice, and I even do black rice. And
mm,
black rice actually looks kind of purple, whatever.
mhm,
But it's a those are the three that I do at home. Like today, I bought wild rice, and wild
mhm.
rice actually has black rice in it. It has all the different types of rices in the rice, and so it
Why would you
really
choose that? Why would you choose wild or black
yes.
rice?
I choose those because they have the most nutrients. Black
Mm,
rice, for me, because I do not eat a lot of meat. So I
mm,
have to get my protein from my vegetables and from other things that I eat. Black rice has a really good amount of protein in it. So not
mm,
only am I getting the nutrients from the rice itself because it's not being bleached and the color's not being taken away. So there's a lot of nutrients still in it. I'm
mm.
also getting protein and then on top of whatever vegetable that I'm adding to it. So it's just a big nutrients dense meal. So
Okay.
that's why choosing other rices adds more nutritional value because think about how we eat generally. Are we getting enough nutrients in our food? If not, we should be eating for nutrients, not just for the taste. Don't get me
Okay.
wrong, my food has to taste good in order for me to eat it.
Okay.
But I also want nutrient rich foods so that I can stay fueled and not depleted. When you have all that white flour and all the fried food and you eat all
Mhm,
that, your body doesn't break that down easy. So your body is working overtime, overtime, overtime. That's why you feel exhausted.
mm.
Instead of feeding it things that it can easily digest, like wild rice, black rice, leafy green vegetables, all those things, feed it things that it can digest easily.
Mm. Well, thank you. Let's see. This is a big one. Caffeine intake. How much is too much?
I really think it depends on the person. I think it's too much when you are so dependent on it.
Mm,
Why are you depending on caffeine solely to keep you energized? Like some
mm,
people are like, oh, I need my morning caffeine. I need my morning coffee. I go in the afternoon. I'm going to go warm up the coffee in the afternoon and to just try to get them through the day. But why is caffeine your go-to? Your food should be keeping you energized throughout the day and keep you a sustained energy. If you want to have that caffeine in the morning, because I don't think we should, deprive ourselves of something that we feel like we
mm,
really like,
mm,
have it in the morning. But why do you need that all day? You need to pay attention to the foods that you eat to keep your energy going,
Mm.
not just caffeine itself.
So pay attention to the food. So is that why you suggest keeping a journal of what food we consume? Okay.
Yes. That way you know what actually energized you. Keep a journal, talk about, how you felt after you ate that meal. Like, oh my gosh, I was so full, or oh my gosh, my stomach was so bloated after I ate this. Pay attention. Oh my gosh, I was so energized. I was able to get this, this, and this done after I ate this lunch. I pay attention, because if that is the lunch, you need to
Mm.
eat more meals like that lunch for your lunch every day to keep you energized throughout your day at work so that your brain can stay focused, because energy equals focus. If you are tired and depleted, that's brain fog.
Ah, so you're saying we cannot just watch TV and consume, right? Or
Yeah.
just watch our phone and just consume. So pay attention to the food. So we
Yeah.
are mindful while
Mhm.
we are eating.
Yes.
And so we are mindful of how our body is responding after we consume the food. That way, we're like, okay, if I feel energized after this, I need to consume more of that. If I feel depleted, okay, I have to find different food to add to my
Yes.
to my routine rather than that. That is a valuable suggestion you're giving, because the reason why we are going for the caffeine, we have to find out why, because that might be dependent on the food choices we are making.
Hmm.
Okay.
Food choices, because if you think about it, if you're eating, unhealthy things, or if you're eating like this big thing of pasta with no
Mm.
vegetables or anything for lunch, yes, you're going to be tired. If you're eating this big bowl full of food that has not a lot of nutrients in it, it's going to deplete you because you didn't give anything to keep a sustained, energized energy throughout the day. So you have
Mm.
to pay attention to that. And if you're bloated and your body's doing all this work to digest all this food, then of course you're going to be tired. Your body's working overtime now.
Mm. Wow. Okay. Um, you're such an inspiring person, and I have not heard somebody shed light on how, to pay attention to how the food we eat, how it makes us feel.
Hmm.
So thank you for that. And so I know you have certain people who inspire you, and so I would like to know who who is your mentor and who you look up to and who inspires you.
Ooh, there's a few people that I just kind of probably have never met. As
Mm.
far as like, healthy living and lifestyle goes, that I'm super inspired by because they have like lived the way they're going to do it. Unapologetically. And one of them is, I don't know if you guys ever follow, his name is Dr. Bobby Price on Instagram. And
Mm.
he's also like a pharmacist, and he's also a nutritionist, and he talks about the why behind foods. He's
Mm.
very plant-based, but I love how the way he talks about the why behind the foods and how food is very much medicine to us. And that's why
Mm.
it is important for us to actually pay attention to how we feel after food, because it's
Mm.
it could be our medicine. Like there's so many, if you hear so many different people being healed just by the food that they're eating, it's so important for us to pay attention to just the small. And people think nutrition, oh, I'm going to die of anyway. I'm going to die of
Mm.
something anyway. But why not be well while you're here? We're all going to die, that we all have an ending. But why not be well and feel good while you're here and be the best version of you while you're here, while you're alive and living around other people? So he's a really good inspiration. There's just a few people that I love to do. Oprah is another one. If you ever just listen to some of the motivational things that she
I
talks about,
know.
I'm just
Who
like,
doesn't who doesn't love Oprah?
right. It's just like, I didn't even think of it that way, Oprah. But it's just, and then she brings all these different people to give you different perspectives. And she just makes sure that you're not getting one way to do something. Like this has worked for this person. And so
Hmm.
or this can work for you. It's just learning all the different things and just being able to implement it the best way for yourself.
Wow. Wow. That is so true, though. And I'm glad you mentioned, food is a medicine, because I love my mom, but she used to say, like you said, we are going to pass away anyway. And, I'm going to have whatever I want.
Yes.
And my dad used to say, well, our family has history of, this, and this. So you don't, you want to eat healthy. You know what? I'm going to just enjoy my life. I'm going to eat, this fruit and whatnot. And it doesn't matter whether it has too much sugar. But, now she understands. And now she's like, yes, all those times when dad was saying, pay attention to this. And, I didn't pay attention to it. See, now I am understanding why. So I'm glad you mentioned that. You shed light on that. And it doesn't matter, what the age is, where you are in your journey.
Hmm.
Um, I'm glad she's realizing it, and now she's making changes,
Hmm.
and it is still going to help her in her
Right
journey.
now. Hmm.
Yes, in wellness. And
Yeah.
so I'm so glad you brought that up, because yeah, while you are here in this universe, this is beautiful life, and
Hmm.
live live the life the way you want to live. At the same time, you can live a meaningful life, right?
Yes.
And enjoy, doing things that you want to enjoy doing it. Because if you're not well, it starts here, what we consume, what we eat, and if we are
Hmm.
just swallowing it rather than just chewing and enjoying
Right.
the texture. And
Hmm.
I'm a slow eater, and my mom still says, like, you are eating just like your dad. And because I know once I start talking and I'm like, I'm not eating,
Yeah.
she's like, eat. And then I take my own time chewing, and she's like done like that. So anyway, yeah, it's important to appreciate the food and enjoy the food, because the person who has um, made that food, they have put their love and attention and care in making those, dish for you. So, and being grateful for that food, and enjoying the taste, and relishing those, it's important, right?
It is.
Um,
It's so important. If you think about certain like religious, backgrounds, they pray before they eat
yes,
or different things like that.
yes,
And it's all, and then some people are just like, oh, I'm just so grateful, blah, blah, blah. It's all
yes,
the same thing.
yeah,
It's all us just being grateful, needing to be grateful for, like you said, even the bless the person that cooked this for me. I don't know
yes,
them, but thank
yes.
them because I didn't have to get in my kitchen and do it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Right. And yeah, being thankful for the dish, and being thankful for the person who cooked, and instead of just swallowing,
Yes,
yeah, that makes total, because it's going to play a role in our wellness, for
it
our
is.
health.
It
It's
is.
nourishing the soul. I'm so glad you shed light on that. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Um, so let me ask you this. Okay, people ask, fresh fruit juices in a smoothie form,
Mhm.
is it good or bad?
I think it's all good. It's fruit, right?
Okay.
And just pay attention to what else is being added to it. So whenever I make my smoothies, I don't do like a dairy milk. I do like an almond milk. I do an oat milk. I just do a milk also that's going to be nourishing.
Mm.
Whenever I add like a sweetener, I may use dates instead of actual
Mm.
sugar.
I
Yeah.
did that.
It's healthier. Dates are really good for you. So dates, use agave, use maple syrup, use
Mhm.
those type of things, and you're getting all the nutrients from it. I know some people don't like some of the juices, like the juicers, because the
Mm.
actual juicer by itself, not the smoothie, but the juicer takes some of the fiber out because you do
Yes.
that. So some
Mhm.
people don't want to do it that way, but it's like you're still getting nutrients from it. You're just not getting as much fiber. And it's just like
Fiber.
anything. When you have things raw, there's a different nutrients. When you cook that same vegetable, there's different nutrients in it because it's
Mm.
being cooked. So it's
Mhm.
just you're still getting nutrients. It's different types of nutrients. And anything's better than those sugary based juices in the store.
Mhm. Mhm. So make the juice at home,
Mhm.
and if you can have fresh fruits, inside the smoothie, in a smoothie form,
Yes.
it'll add fiber. But then if you choose to do it in a juicer where the
Mhm.
fiber is removed,
Mhm.
that is still okay, because for whatever reason they have to have the fiber removed. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
um, Thank you. Let's see. Water, does it need to be filtered? What is your opinion?
My intake on water is I don't do purified water or
Mm.
filtered water. I actually purchase spring water. I know
Mm,
everybody talks about alkaline water this and alkaline water that.
mm,
Alkaline, when people say alkaline, what they mean is when your body is in an alkaline state, disease cannot live in an alkaline body. So
mhm,
when everybody's talking about alkaline food and alkaline this, and it's because they want their body to be so alkaline that disease can't live in it.
mm.
And so alkaline water, whenever you see alkaline water, a lot of times is purified water, and then they've added something into it to make it alkaline. I
Mm,
drink spring water because spring water is naturally alkaline already. And it's coming off the springs and it's getting nutrients off the rocks or whatever that natural, where it's coming from, that natural
mm.
spring that it's coming from, it's getting natural nutrients from that. So, and I don't buy inexpensive spring water. I buy the Walmart brand spring water. You don't have to go buy expensive.
Okay, thanks for mentioning it. You're like Walmart brand
Yes,
spring water.
yes,
Okay,
and it's spring water. Pay
okay.
attention because if you go to Publix, that's a South grocery store,
Yes.
but any grocery store
Yeah.
that you go to, if you get their spring water, some of them will say purified spring. So read it because
Okay.
look for just spring water.
Okay.
Even if it says purified spring, that means it's been purified. You just want
Okay.
regular spring water. There's a water here in Florida. There's like Zephyr Hills because it's a natural spring here that people get it from.
Yeah.
But there's another spring water. I can't think of the name of it. I think Fiji water is spring, but we all know Fiji costs a little penny. Crystal Geyser, that's a
Okay.
cheap water. You can get that at Dollar Tree. That's
Okay.
another spring water. That's a good spring water. So nothing for you to go out and spend a whole lot of money on
Thank you.
if you want to
Yes.
do spring water. But definitely it's just it's natural spring, it's natural alkaline water.
So you are saying the for people who are going for reverse osmosis, having filter
Yes.
in their kitchen sink, and
Mhm.
is does that help? What is your opinion
Um,
on that?
I think it helps base if you're like you said, if it's going through the water at
Yeah.
home, I think
Yeah.
it's helpful for that because they put so much stuff in our water now, the fluoride and all the different things. So I
Hmm.
do think it's very helpful to have some type of filtration system. If you're like, you know what, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to just have water out of the faucet. Of course, that's better than drinking, regular faucet water.
Mm,
But if you want to take the extra step and, if you're already buying water anyway,
mm,
buy spring water.
mm.
Mhm.
Um, so I know one of my friend when she gets the water from her tap or water faucet or whatnot, she's actually saying a prayer.
Mm.
So it's infused, it doesn't have to be elaborate, but
Right.
it's like the intention of nourishing your body with this water, and good intention,
Mhm.
because water fills, more than 70% of our body. So
Yes.
that was pretty cool. And I'm like, wow, we didn't even think about it. Well, sometimes it's like you're drinking water. Okay, I
Yes.
need to drink this many cups of water.
Right.
It's like forcing myself rather than like, what, I'm energizing myself with this water. So the intention matters.
Yes. With water, with food, really
Mm,
with anything that we do, I guess we get so caught up in our routine and what we're trying to do or rushing through the day because we always got to be somewhere at this time and doing something. But really anything that we do, just even getting in your car and being grateful for your car working. Like it's like, you know what? I appreciate you because you get me around. I don't have to walk there. There's air in here and I don't have to be out in that hot sun.
yes.
So just being
Yeah.
grateful for all the small things that we forget to be grateful for. I'm grateful that my air conditioner works, right?
Yes.
We're normally
Yes.
not grateful until it goes out and we're like, you know what? I'm so happy. So yeah.
Yes, that is true, because I had an experience where a couple of days ago, um, I didn't even realize after I did my yoga, I taught a class, and then my foot, on the base of my ball of my foot, just swelled up. And I'm like, wow. And then the doctor who I work with looked at it and said, Aruna, did you get a spider bite or did you step on anything sharp? And I said, no,
Mm,
apparently it was a spider bite. So what I'm saying is, I could not even put weight on my
wow.
foot, and I was, it was affecting my gait, and I'm like, wow, the things we take it for granted. There is nothing, we cannot take anything for granted.
Not one thing. Yeah.
And, so then I have to, one of the other doctors gave me a cold laser therapy. So I could heal faster. And then I
Mhm.
applied essential oils. So,
Okay.
the reason why I bring that up is, being grateful for everything that is
Everything.
given to us, and
Mhm.
that we have access to. Not many people have access to, just drinking water.
Right.
Just drinking water, that not many
Mhm.
people have access to that. Now that we have access to drinking water, or like you said, air, like
Mhm.
breathing air that is healthy for us to breathe, and roof over your head, and
Yeah.
air conditioning, like you said, a vehicle that you drive in,
Mhm.
everything, the clothes you wear.
Yes.
So yes,
It's
the
everything.
gratitude goes a long way when we are grateful for the things that are being offered to us, or the blessings that that we take it for granted.
Yes.
I never took my feet for granted, no, but I was appreciative of it more. I'm like,
Even more.
wow,
Exactly. Yes.
you
Mhm.
know, that I was able to, bear weight on that foot. And I was like, wow, I am so grateful, because I was surrounded by people who are able to help me and guide me in the
Right.
path that is helping me to heal.
Yes.
So,
Even
yes,
having that community around you that's helping you heal. Somebody could get a spider bite and not be able to heal that quickly, or not have the resources to be able to pay to
yes,
get that, you know?
yes,
Every little thing I think we forget until it like happens. And then it's like, you know what? I didn't forget, but I forgot. And thank you.
yes. It's never too late to say thank you.
Right.
And even for the smallest thing, we can say thank
Yes.
you, because that's going to vibrate out to the universe. And then the universe is going to bless us,
Yes.
with more of those blessings.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you for being,
Yes.
on, talking to me and giving all this information for everybody who's listening. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. What is the best business advice that you have received, and who gave it to you, would you say?
I think the best business advice that I've learned, and it's how you and I met, is from Jolie, and it's intermingling your spirituality in your business. Like
Mm,
we so much want to keep it separate, but
hmm.
when you have your own business, and you're doing your own, you can actually intermingle that, because what is a business without me, like you say, having that gratitude? I'm
Mm,
grateful to even be able to have a business, to be able to serve someone else. That is grateful. That in itself is grateful. And I'm grateful for people trusting in me and wanting to speak with me and wanting to, learn knowledge from me. And
hmm,
so having those spiritual practices, like meditation,
hmm,
and really just even praying for your clients,
hmm.
really having, your being able to do that. I think to me, like learning that from her was just such a big thing for me, because sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I want to pray that my business is well, but like really pray deeper. Is deeper than that. Like you're helping somebody, and that is like a ripple effect. It's going out, because then that person then is going to go help people that you weren't even able to reach.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that's been a
Oh, it gives
big
me goosebumps. Oh, wow. So it applies to everybody.
yes.
It doesn't have to be just for the business owners,
Right.
because if you are an employee in a company, and if you're
Mhm.
working for somebody, um, you don't understand how much you're impacting the people who you're not able to see. You're
Mhm.
impacting people indirectly. You might be thinking like, oh yeah, I'm working for the boss. Yes,
Yeah.
but the work we offer, and when we are grateful, and when we are praying for that, whatever work we are doing, how it's going to impact the client who we are reaching to, even if you're
Mhm.
an employee,
Yes.
right? So
Mhm.
praying for those clients, you don't have to be a business owner to pray for your clients'
That's true.
wellness, right?
Yes, it's so true. And like you said, because some people don't want to be a business owner, but in
Yeah.
your role, that's your
Hmm.
business. You are your brand, even for another company. Like you are branding yourself, and as a brand, I'm speaking to my clients weekly, daily, monthly, and I do
Mm,
want better for them. And you never know how you impact someone by something that you said until 6 months later, they come back and say it to you like, oh my gosh, Danielle, when you said this or when you told me to do this, I actually did it and this happened. And then my
mm.
friend said this and then they wanted to do it. And then I'm like, I don't even know who your friends are. I've never even met you in real life. And so it's just, you never know. Like you said, praying over your own clients, even within a business, is such a big deal. It can go such a long way.
Yeah. And even if you have a challenging, client, it's like,
Yes,
I pray that you get, clearance on what you need to do.
exactly.
It doesn't have to be elaborate.
No,
Yes, that's even harder when you are having a challenging, when they are questioning. It's like, okay, yes, I pray that you, you get clearance on this matter,
exactly.
and then we can just leave it at that, right? That is
Right.
still a prayer.
It is.
And
It's
you
true.
are still helping them
Yes.
indirectly, and they will get clearance on that matter. Yes, thank you, thank you. um, so do you have any regrets?
Ooh, I don't have any regrets. Well, actually, I think my biggest regret is this, and I say this so that people can actually do it. And is as you know, my mom transitioned last year, and my biggest regret was not asking enough questions. And
Mm,
as a child, no matter how like old we get,
mm,
we forget that our parents is always that they're that much older than us and they've gone through certain experiences. And
mhm,
it's like, why didn't I ever ask about that? Why didn't I ask? I know going through the program that we went through with Jolie was one of the things that I did actually get to ask my mom, but some people may not have thought of this is like,
mhm,
what were you thinking when you were pregnant with me? What
mm,
was your energy? Because if you think about it when you're young, I mean, it starts from the womb. So just small things like how did you interpret me when I was younger? Or how did I act whenever I was younger? Or just little things like that that you want to know that you just don't think to ask, or something that they went through. It's like, Mom, when you were my age, what were you doing? Like, what were you thinking? Were you insecure like I am? Because I know you don't care now because you're older, but like, did you feel these same insecurities? Just like little things like that. That would probably be my biggest regret, is just not asking some of those questions, because it's just interesting to know that, like, my mom was like me at one point.
yeah, yeah, I mean, everybody goes through those phases, right? It's, yeah, but we don't think about it. And would you suggest, when you ask, would you write it down?
I would say that. I would say you can write it down, you can record it, because you want to remember it. That's a good memory. And then
Mhm.
like pay attention to their energy too, because they might just laugh and they may like, oh my gosh, okay, I have to tell you this story. When I was your age, I did this. And you just may find, you never know what you can find out about your parents.
Beautiful. Okay. Um, what is next for you?
Mm.
In your business, in your life, what is the next
The next
phase?
thing, I think the next phase of my business for me is I actually want to help, because I like helping women. I want to help corporate women, women that are in the corporate world that are burnt out. They're not really thinking of themselves as much, their family, things like that. So my next phase in that is like doing lunch and learns for people
Mm,
at work, or showing up to the women's networks or things like that as a speaker, and working with women in that way.
mm,
um, because I think those are the women that I want to help. Because I remember being incorporated, and the only thing, I was just so exhausted, like going to
mm,
work every day, and then I needed to go work out after work, and then I need to go home and be a wife, a mother, whatever it is, that you have to go through, and going through all those steps. And it's like, am I ever enough? Does anybody ever feel, grateful? And it's like, you're not going to feel that way until you feel it for yourself.
mm,
And then when you learn to, feel that way, then you learn to create boundaries. It's like, hey, I'm not going to be super mom. Let's look at this
mhm,
calendar. What events do you have for school this week or month? Which ones do you really, really want me at? Because I'm not going to be at every event, and
mm,
be okay with it.
mm.
Just being able to have to create that balance for yourself. And so that's what's next for me in business, is to be able to help more corporate women, and do it in their environment, reach them in that way, corporate wise. And then who knows, kind of what else. Still working on, the health journey that I'm on, and creating new rituals for myself, continue to help women in that way, and working on my relationships, with my friends, maybe getting a love interest, who knows? I'm I'm open to that. in
Definitely.
in the thing. So that's where I'm at for that. And then yeah, I think that's what's next.
So when you said rituals, what is your daily ritual or morning ritual looks like?
Yes. My morning ritual is like really just waking up and just having that moment of like gratitude of like waking up, like, you know what, thank you. Not getting overwhelmed by what I have going on that day. Like I know that there's going to be things going on, making my tea and just like really starting it relaxed, because we know how easily our day can get away from us and it get chaotic. So really spending time, just like an hour, and I literally take an hour to get ready. I brush my teeth, I wash my face. Even if I look a mess, like it takes me an hour to just get in front of the computer and get ready. So that's what I do.
Um, so did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think we covered.
Okay.
Um, I think we covered
Um,
everything.
I do want to ask you. I know you were sharing with me tips on how to boost your immune system.
Mhm.
So do you have a giveaway? For the people who are listening, what do you suggest?
Yes. So I do have different blogs on my website about different immune boosting things. So if anyone's like wants to go there, there's different things there. But just to like even start, like today, make sure citrus, right? And a part of my morning ritual is actually, and I didn't mention, was having lemon water or
Mm,
key lime water. And that just starts my day.
what proportion? What
Like a half of a lemon or lime. If it's a key lime, I use the whole key lime.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's just like a half of a lemon squeezed in a bit, like an 8 ounce, 8 or
Okay.
16 ounce, glass of water,
Mm,
and drinking that at room temperature. Some people like it warm. However do it. I just drink mine at room temperature. I just drink my water at room temperature as well, and then I make myself warm tea. But anything citrus is going to help boost your vitamin C. So having orange, this time I brought grapefruit. I have the lemons for my lemon water. So anything citrusy things is going to give you vitamin C. Bell peppers, a lot of people don't know, is really good for your immune system. Now what's in season is watermelon. If you can find seeded watermelon, not seedless, but seeded,
ooh,
because the seeds in watermelon also give us nutrients. So just eat it all, drink it all. I remember when I was younger, my mom used to say, "Oh, if you eat the seed in a watermelon, you're gonna grow a watermelon in your
I was going
stomach."
to say.
That's not true.
I'm sure.
So,
I'm sure other people are thinking about that too.
yes, eat the whole thing. Eat all that you can make. I blend it up in a watermelon. If you blend it up in a blender, and then you can add a little bit of basil to it. Oh my gosh, y'all, or mint. It's so good. So those are really good.
So
And
with the seeds, you just blend it all, and if
yep,
you're eating, it's
just
it's
eat the
crunchy.
seeds.
You
Yep,
just eat it. Okay.
just eat it. Yeah, there's all different nutrients in all of it. And so yes, get the citrus things in. Bell peppers are another one. Watermelon is another one. The leafy greens also have different vitamin C's, vitamins and nutrients for you. Green tea is really good, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, which fight the free radicals, which come in and try to destroy our, infection. And so garlic is a good thing to add to your foods, because it also has a lot of infection fighting things in it. Um, I'm trying to think of other remedies. So there's so many different things, but just do it. Lymphatic system, do your lymphatic massages. If you have one of those small rebounder trampolines, jump on that,
Ooh.
because that's really good for your lymphatic system. And your lymphatic system, it controls our immune system.
Mhm.
Pre and probiotics, because 80, I think it's like 80, 75 or 80% of our immune system is in our gut health. So pay attention to your gut health. So pre and probiotics, to have some of those digestive enzymes, all those
Mhm.
different things I'm trying to think. But yeah, all those are good for our immune
Wow.
system.
I'm just
Yeah.
like taking notes very religiously. Okay, so then do we have to be consistent in, in those, consuming all that you mentioned?
Yes, I believe like that's why it's so why I always try to give a variety because there's different ways that you can consume vitamin C. Like today, you may actually take the supplement vitamin C, but you may forget tomorrow, but you had oranges. And then the
Okay.
next day you added garlic to your food. So you want to have it just, and this is like throughout the year, because I know a lot of times we wait, oh, it's cold and flu season, let me do it. And yes, we're going into cold and flu season, but we can boost our immune system all year round.
So when you talk that, that is great. I was going to ask you, since you said you can boost your immune system all year round, what is do you suggest? Because I have my clients ask me all the time,
Mhm.
whether I'm doing massages or when I'm teaching them yoga, they're like, do you have any cleanses that you do? Do you have any suggestions? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask Danielle this. So I'm going to ask you, do you suggest any detox? And if you do, is there anything in particular we have to do all year round, or do you break it down? How do you do it?
I think it really depends on you when you're looking at detoxes. Like before I got more plant based or more pescatarian, whatever you want to call it, I used to do a de-herbs cleanse, and it
Mm,
was 20 days raw vegan, and I would do it once a quarter.
once a quarter?
Once a quarter, that's one that I would do. Now I actually have two signature cleanse slash detoxes that I do. One is for the summer, and then one is for kind of like the fall and winter. And the reason why it's two different detoxes is because it incorporates two different sets of fruits and vegetables that may not be available in the summer and may not be available in the fall. So that's why it's two different ones. And you can do it as often as you think you need to. Both of mine are 14 days. The summer one you can
Mhm.
actually do 7 days, or if you want to do it 14 days, it's up to you.
Mm,
But the one that I have for like fall and winter, that one, it's 14 days.
mm,
And if you want to do it maybe at the beginning going into the season, and then
mm.
maybe kind of in the middle of the season before we go into spring, you can kind of do it then too. So maybe do it twice in the season. Because, do it in the fall, we're going into winter, do it again in the winter. So yes, just doing those things and incorporating when you're eating seasonally, you're eating those foods that you need during the season. They should be cheaper because they're in season,
Mm.
and you're getting the nutrients that you need in that season, the vitamin C's and things that you need in that season from the fruit and vegetables that are available in that season.
So obviously, right, during the summer months, we'll have oranges and whatnot, and
Right.
going into the fall and winter, when we don't have access to as much
Mm.
oranges, we can still incorporate those lemon water that you mentioned, and
Yes.
then bell pepper and leafy greens that
Mhm.
has more vitamin C. And then you also said you can have supplements when you don't have as much citrus that is available during the fall and winter months.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm glad you mentioned that you can use those cleanse, the herb cleanse, twice in the season, correct?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The two
Um,
that I have, you can use twice in one season.
so summer is coming to an end. And so you're saying, you have something that you suggest for people to take before summer ends? And
Yes.
how do we have access to that? And how can people connect with you to get access to that?
Yes, you can go on my website. It is daremedanielle.com. You can also shoot me an email. It's Danielle at dareme.com, at daremedanielle.com. I'm sorry. You can also find me on Instagram at dareme_Danielle and slide me a DM. And what I have coming up next is it is a summer detox. Summer ends, I think, at the end of September. So we're going to do it throughout the month of September. Again, you can either do it for 7 days or you could do it for the full 14 days. But I have it coupled with a 30-day challenge that I do. So you get that cleanse, and then you also get another healthy eating guide from me if you sign up for that one. So I add that in there. I actually offer, with that, I do herbal suggestions that are going to boost your energy, immune system, all that. I also give a list of supplemental suggestions that you can add into your day-to-day lives. And when I give you these suggestions and people think that, oh, I got to do all of this, and it's like, no, you get to choose which supplement because you know how you eat. So you know what you don't get enough of. And those are the supplements that you get to choose. I just like to give you all your options because at different times of the year, you may need to refer back to it and be like, oh, maybe I can try this now or do this
Mhm.
then. Or, you know, however you decide to do it. So that is something that I do in my 30-day challenge is within that is that 7 to 14 day summer detox that we're going to do in September.
Beautiful. Okay, so daremedanielle.com, that's your website. And
Yes.
then Danielle@dareme.com is the email.
Yeah, it's Danielle at daremedanielle.com.
Danielle@daremedanielle.com. That's the
Yes.
email. Okay.
Yes.
And then they can contact you on Instagram, dareme_Danielle.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And do you have anything special that you're giving for my listeners?
Yes, for your listeners, I can give you all 10% off if you decide. And don't worry, my detoxes or my 30-day challenge is not that much. It's $58. So you'll get 10% off. And then with that, I'll also give you a 30-minute strategy because I normally give a 30-minute consultation, but this will be a 30-minute wellness strategy that we can create to actually help you go into the 30-day challenge. And then
Mm,
something that you can use after with creating your routines, meal prep, all those different things, because we talk about that in the 30-day challenge as well, but we can figure out the best way for you in those 30 minutes. So you get 10% off, 30 minutes with me that you'll be able to work, and then you'll get all the things that come with that um, detox. So it's great. So I appreciate you for having me on. So I wanted to show everyone a little bit of appreciation for them listening to us. I know they've been listening to us for a while now. We didn't expect to keep talking so long, but it's been so good.
yes, and you are giving all these wonderful nuggets. So thank you, thank you. And you said your 30-day challenge starts in September.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming, and talking to my listeners, all and giving all this wonderful information. It's been I've had so much fun. I've had so much fun talking to you and listening to you. So I do appreciate you sincerely. You have a beautiful weekend and a beautiful week ahead.
Thank you. And I appreciate you for having me. I appreciate you for thinking of me. And I always love speaking with you. You have such a sweet spirit and you're always so open to listening and you ask all the right fun questions. And so I've really enjoyed being here with you. So thank you. I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome, Danielle.